To you, the chosen one, have you ever felt the profound weight of being set apart? Walking a road so unique that few can truly grasp its depth. Your quiet strength. Your perseverance through rejection. And your unwavering ability to remain silent even when others lash out, these are not mere traits, they are markers of your divine calling. You are not ordinary. God Himself has handpicked you for a purpose so profound. It often stirs both awe and resistance in those around you before we dive deeper. I want to pause and thank you, yes. You. Whether you're new here or have been a steadfast supporter of this mission. Your presence and encouragement fuel the heart of this journey. If this truth resonates with you, let's affirm it together. Drop a 77 in the comments as a declaration that you are boldly walking in your God-given calling now. Imagine this, Joseph. A dreamer mocked and betrayed by his very own brothers. Yet chosen for greatness by God. The same brothers who plotted against him ultimately became witnesses to his divine rise. Genesis 37 verse 19 reminds us of this powerful truth. Do you see the parallel? When the world misunderstands, rejects, or envies your silence, remember, it's not your loss. It's their inability to comprehend the masterpiece God is crafting within you. But what happens when the pressure builds? When the weight feels unbearable? And when the truth about those who oppose you becomes clear? What should you do in those moments? The answer is simple yet profound: stay silent. Give them what they want. And walk away with your head held high. Curious why this approach isn't just wise but essential? Let's delve deeper into the divine strategy behind this and discover how God uses these moments to shape your breakthrough. Chosen one. Have you ever felt the weight of silence, not as a burden but as a tool? A weapon forged by divine wisdom. For those destined to carry God's favor. Silence is neither weakness nor surrender. It is a purposeful strategy. A spiritual armor that shields your soul from the chaos of manipulation and deceit. Allowing the truth to unfold in God's perfect time. What happens when someone close to you, a friend, a partner, or even a family member, betrays your trust? Weaving lies and disrespect. Your instincts might scream for confrontation. The fire within might urge you to demand explanations or defend your integrity with sharp words. But pause. Ask yourself, what does the manipulator truly desire? Often, they seek an emotional reaction. A distraction they can twist and use against you. This is their trap. Yet, you, dear chosen one, are not like most people. You are called to rise above. Instead of falling into their schemes, you choose a different path, the path of silence. Silence, in this context, is not passivity, it is discernment. It is stepping back into a spiritual fortress where calm becomes clarity and patience becomes strategy. When Jesus was betrayed by Judas with a kiss, Luke 22 verse 48. He did not lash out or scream in anger. Instead, his silence reflected his profound understanding of God's greater plan. Dear chosen one, your silence is not defeat, it is a whisper of victory. In stepping away from chaos, you gain perspective. In the stillness, you hear the voice of God guiding your steps. These quiet moments of retreat bring clarity that others cannot comprehend. Have you noticed how observing rather than reacting reveals hidden truths? It is as though God Himself opens your eyes to motives and intentions. Proverbs 17 verse 28 reminds us. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent. And discerning if they hold their tongues. Silence strips away the noise. Exposing the essence of every situation. Manipulators and deceivers thrive on your reaction. By refusing to play their game, you dismantle their control. You might wonder, shouldn't I defend myself? Shouldn't I prove my innocence? No, dear chosen one. Truth needs no loud defender. Like the dawn breaking the night, truth rises slowly yet undeniably. Remember Joseph, betrayed, sold into slavery, and abandoned by his brothers. He did not curse them or demand vindication. Instead, he endured, observed, and trusted in God's plan. His silence and patience positioned him for divine favor, where his truth shone brighter than ever. The power of silence lies not in avoidance but in mastery. It demonstrates that you are not ruled by fleeting emotions but anchored in something eternal. So, the next time someone drags you into their storm, when lies, disrespect, or manipulation arise, refuse to give them what they seek. Give them silence. Walk away, confident that God is your defender. In your silence lies a strength that speaks louder than any words ever could. Dear chosen one, have you ever felt the power of silence reverberate through your soul? Have you noticed how silence can unsettle those who seek control over you? That's because your silence does something extraordinary. It exposes their weaknesses while magnifying your God-given strength. You were never meant to be dragged into their chaos, you were called to rise above it. So, when the masks fall and the truth is revealed, remember this: remain silent. Give them what they want. And walk away, not in fear, but in faith. Faith that God sees, that He knows, and that He will act in ways far beyond your understanding. You are chosen. You are set apart. This gift of silence is not weakness, it is the echo of divine wisdom flowing through you. Have you ever wondered why you can perceive truths hidden from the world? Why masks slip before your eyes while others remain blind? It is because God has blessed you with a rare and extraordinary gift, the ability to discern the essence of people and situations. You don't need to dig for evidence or expose anyone directly, the truth comes to you. Subtle yet undeniable. Revealed through divine discernment. This clarity sets you apart. While others stumble in confusion, you walk with a light that pierces through shadows. Guided by God's wisdom, you see the hidden motives that elude most. This is why you do not react impulsively. Why scream for proof when the truth has already been whispered into your spirit? God has placed you a step ahead. Always. But let's not misunderstand this gift, it comes with its own trials. The pain of betrayal from someone you love or trust can cut deep, shaking your belief in people and unleashing storms of anger and confusion. The desire to confront, to expose their lies, and to call them out for the world to see can feel overwhelming. But pause. Ask yourself, whose game am I playing? Manipulators thrive on chaos, they draw strength from controlling your emotions, keeping their narrative alive. But when you choose silence, you deny them that power. Your silence is not surrender, it is strategy. It is a refusal to play their game. Think of Jesus standing before his accusers, Matthew 27 verses 12 to 14. The chief priests and elders hurled accusations, twisting the truth to provoke him. Yet, Jesus remained silent. Imagine the weight of that moment. He knew the truth did not need his defense, his purpose was far greater than their words. Can you see yourself in this story? Dear chosen one, silence forces manipulators to face a void they cannot fill. Without your reaction, their schemes crumble. Their confusion grows as they realize their tricks no longer work. Meanwhile, in your stillness, you grow. You reclaim your energy. Align with God's wisdom, and guard the purity of your soul. True strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it is the quiet resolve to step back and let God fight for you. As it is written in Exodus 14 verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Do you trust this promise? Do you see the power that lies in waiting? Silence requires more strength than words ever could. There will be moments when anger burns within you. When the desire to retaliate feels irresistible. In those moments, remember who you are. You are chosen, set apart. And your strength flows from something far greater than your emotions. When storms rage within, turn inward. Seek the calm that only God can provide. Do you hear His voice whispering to wait? Silence is not passivity, it is active preparation. Picture a warrior on the battlefield. Does he charge recklessly at his enemy? No. He waits, watches, and studies his opponent, preparing for the perfect moment to act. This is your silence, strategic, intentional, and purposeful. It is in this space that you strengthen your soul and sharpen your mind. You don't just survive the challenge, you rise above it. And when the dust settles, you will see how God used your silence to expose lies, dismantle deception, and elevate you. You will emerge stronger, renewed in faith, and aligned with the divine vision He has set for your life. So, chosen one, when the masks fall and the truth is revealed, resist the urge to react. Keep silent. Step back. Reclaim your power. Trust in God's perfect timing. For in your stillness lies your strength. It is in your silence that victory will come. Are you ready to embrace this gift of silence? Are you ready to let God fight for you while you walk in unwavering faith? The path may not be easy. But remember, you are chosen. And the chosen ones are never left alone. Life is not a random series of events, it is a stage where truth is continuously revealed in God's perfect time. And you, dear chosen one, have been blessed with the vision to see what others cannot. While most people are easily deceived by smooth words and empty promises, you possess a discernment that pierces through the illusions carefully crafted by manipulators. It's not something you learned or cultivated on your own. This ability is a divine gift, entrusted to you by God as both protection and guidance. Have you ever paused to reflect on how often you've recognized a trap before stepping into it? How many times have you felt that inner pull? That unshakable knowing in your spirit, telling you to wait, to observe, and to trust? That is the voice of God, the gentle whisper of His divine revelation guiding your steps. It is as though an invisible light shines on the path meant for you, illuminating every obstacle, every deception, and ensuring your safe passage through life's challenges. This clarity is not coincidence, it is the unmistakable favor of God working within you. But understand this divine revelation does not come from obsessively searching for answers or striving to expose anyone. The chosen ones trust in their connection with the Creator. They know that truth does not need force to emerge. It will come to light in God's time. Not through human effort or confrontation, but through His divine orchestration. When everything around you seems murky, and uncertainty looms, you do not despair. While others exhaust themselves in chaos and confrontation, you wait. You observe. You reflect. And most importantly, you trust. Can you see how powerful this makes you? When the truth is revealed at the appointed time, it carries a weight and authority that no argument or premature confrontation could ever achieve. This is the essence of patience and faith, two virtues deeply embedded in the heart of those chosen by God. Patience allows you to rest in the assurance that God is at work, even when manipulators believe they hold the reins. Faith gives you the strength to remain calm, knowing that the ultimate outcome is already decided in your favor. Consider the story of Joseph, found in Genesis 37-50. Betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and falsely accused. Joseph had every earthly reason to fight back, to demand justice, or to seek revenge. But he didn't. Instead, Joseph placed his trust in God's providence. He waited, even as his brothers believed they had succeeded in their schemes. What they didn't realize was that God was positioning Joseph for something far greater. In the stillness of his patience and the steadfastness of his faith, Joseph rose to a position of immense power in Egypt. And when the truth finally emerged, it was so undeniable, so absolute, that his brothers could only bow before him, overwhelmed by their guilt and the triumph God had granted Joseph. Do you see the pattern here? Chosen one. Joseph didn't need to expose his brothers or seek vindication. He trusted God, and God elevated him. His story is a testament to the power of divine revelation and the profound patience of those chosen by God. It reminds us that manipulators may think they hold the strings, but it is God who controls the outcome. And those who trust in Him will always prevail. So, what does this mean for you? It means you do not need to fight battles that God has already won. You do not need to seek validation or revenge when you are betrayed. Manipulators may believe they are getting away with their schemes, but their time will come. Truth always rises. And when it does, it will be unmistakable. Your role is not to force its emergence but to stand firm in your faith, waiting on the Lord with unwavering patience. As Psalm 37 verse 7 reminds us, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him, do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes." This is not a call to weakness, it is a call to strength. It takes incredible courage and wisdom to wait, to trust that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating justice in ways that far exceed our understanding. Chosen one. As you navigate the betrayals, the lies, and the manipulations of this world, remember who you are. You are set apart. You are not like others, swayed by appearances or broken by deceit. You walk with God's favor, seeing what others cannot see and discerning what others cannot comprehend. While the world fights its petty battles, you rise above, trusting that God will bring the truth to light. Can you feel the weight of this truth? The assurance that you do not need to fight for victory because victory is already yours? Hold on to this promise. Trust in God's timing. Be still. Be patient. And watch as the truth, guided by His hand, unfolds in ways you could never have imagined. For the chosen ones, there exists a unique burden and blessing, the ability to see through deception without searching for evidence. It is not easy to carry the weight of this gift. It can be isolating to realize truths that others cannot see, to witness the masks of those around you slip while the rest of the world remains oblivious. But this clarity is part of your calling. While others stumble in the dark, you stand firm, guided by a light that comes from God Himself. This is not paranoia, it is perception. A divine gift entrusted to you, allowing you to navigate life with discernment and grace. While others are caught in emotional storms, you remain calm, anchored by the truth that God is in control. And in this calm, you find strength. You do not need to expose the lies or confront the manipulators. Instead, you wait, trusting that God will act in His perfect timing. Remember Joseph's story. His patience and faith were not acts of passivity but of profound strength. While his brothers schemed, God elevated him to a position of power. When the truth emerged, it was undeniable, bringing glory to God and vindication to Joseph. And so it will be for you. The manipulators may believe they are winning, but they are only playing into God's hands. Their schemes will crumble, And the truth will rise. Not through your efforts but through God's divine plan. So, dear chosen one, rest in this truth. You do not need to fight every battle. You do not need to prove yourself to those who misunderstand you. Trust in God's timing. For He is always working behind the scenes. Be still. Be patient. And let His perfect plan unfold. For you are chosen. And those who trust in Him will never be put to shame. The ability to see through deception without searching for evidence is a rare gift. But it is also a heavy truth to carry. To know that someone close to you, someone you once trusted, harbors ill intentions can shake the very foundation of your faith in others. Yet, it is precisely in this knowledge that your true strength is revealed. Have you ever asked yourself why you see things others cannot? Why the masks of those around you slip away before your eyes while everyone else remains oblivious? This is no coincidence, it is a divine responsibility entrusted to you by God. While others are blinded by appearances and smooth words, you see clearly through the fog of manipulation. This gift, though isolating at times, is a vital part of your calling. You are not called to be like the rest of the world, caught up in the storms of emotion and conflict. Instead, your calm becomes a shield, an invisible barrier that renders the manipulator powerless. You do not stoop to their level because you understand that confrontation serves no purpose. Have you noticed how unsettling your silence can be to those who seek to provoke you? Your strength lies not in anger but in your unwavering connection to God, the source of all discernment and clarity. This gift of discernment is not accidental, it is sacred. God has chosen you to carry this awareness to guard your heart, guide your steps, and fulfill a purpose far greater than the temporary chaos of conflict. Can you feel the weight of that purpose? It is not paranoia but divine perception, a spiritual insight that transcends human understanding. Even in the midst of a storm, you can hear the faint melody of truth, guiding and protecting you. Imagine standing firm while the winds howl and chaos swirls around you. Have you ever wondered why you remain steady when others collapse? This is the power of the chosen ones. While others stumble in the dark, unsure of what to believe, you stand firm in the knowledge that God's divine light will lead you to the truth. You are protected, guided, and prepared for every challenge. But how do you maintain this calm? How do you keep your footing when the world demands reactions and answers? The answer lies in silence. Have you noticed that silence often speaks louder than words? This silence is not weakness. It is not the absence of action but a deliberate choice, a statement of your unshakable strength. The world demands immediate answers, loud confrontations, and emotional outbursts. But you step back. Why? Because you know that true power lies in resistance. When faced with manipulation, the manipulator expects shouting, arguments, and justifications. They crave a reaction. But what happens when you meet their chaos with stillness? Picture their frustration. They stumble, falter, and find themselves thrown into confusion, unable to comprehend why their tactics no longer work. Your silence forces them to confront a void, an emptiness they cannot control. Your silence becomes an impenetrable shield, a divine force field that neutralizes every attack. And here is the beauty of it: silence does not merely defend you, it empowers you. In the quiet clarity that follows your refusal to engage, you are not idle. You shift your focus away from raw emotion and toward objective truth. While manipulators scramble for control, you are already several steps ahead. You observe. You plan. You wait. Does this remind you of Joseph's story? Joseph, betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery, had every reason to seek revenge or demand justice. Genesis 37-50 recounts his journey. Yet, instead of reacting, Joseph trusted God. He did not cry out for vindication or fight for validation. He endured the trials with patience and faith, knowing that God was at work behind the scenes. Years later, when God elevated him to a position of power in Egypt, the truth emerged with such force that his brothers could only bow before him, overwhelmed by their guilt and his triumph. Joseph's silence was not weakness, it was wisdom. It was trust in God's perfect timing. The same is true for you, dear chosen one. You do not need to expose manipulators or fight petty battles. You do not need to prove yourself to those who misunderstand or deceive you. The truth will emerge on its own, powerful and undeniable. Just as God promises in Exodus 14 verse 14, the Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Imagine the power of that promise. God Himself steps into the fight on your behalf while you remain calm and unmoved. So, when manipulators push you to react, when the world demands answers or explanations, ask yourself, what does my silence say about my strength? What does my calm reveal about my trust in God? While they struggle to provoke you, you rise above. Silence is not retreat, it is spiritual strength. It is standing in the eye of the storm, calm and steady, while chaos rages around you. It is trusting that God's light will expose the truth in His time. Have you ever felt that peace, that unshakable sense that God is working even when you cannot see it? This is the power of silence. It is not passive but active, a preparation for what is to come. Picture a warrior on the battlefield. Does he charge recklessly at his enemy? No. He waits, observes, and prepares for the perfect moment to act. Your silence is like that. It is intentional, purposeful, and strategic. In that space, you do not merely survive the challenge, you rise above it. And when the dust settles, you will see how God used your silence to expose lies, dismantle deception, and elevate you. You will emerge stronger, renewed in faith, and aligned with His vision for your life. So, dear chosen one, when the masks fall and the truth is revealed, resist the urge to react. Keep silent. Step back. Reclaim your power. Trust in God's perfect timing. For it is in your stillness that you will find strength. It is in your silence that victory will come. You are chosen. You are set apart. You are called to a higher purpose. Trust in this truth, and let God guide your steps. The path may not always be easy, but you are never alone. God walks with you, and in His time, all will be made clear. So, hold on to your faith. Be still. Be patient. And let the light of His truth shine through you. For you are a reflection of His grace, His wisdom, and His unwavering love. God is always working, even when you cannot see it. This truth, dear chosen one, is the foundation of your strength and your silence. Let the manipulators shout. Let them plot. And let them fall into their own confusion. While they struggle to maintain control, you remain untouchable. Your silence is not weakness, it is a declaration that your peace is sacred. That your strength is anchored in something eternal and unshakable. You are chosen. You are set apart. And you are protected by God's mighty hand. Trust in the power of silence and allow God to reveal the truth in His perfect time. Are you ready to walk in this strength? Are you ready to let your calm speak louder than any words ever could? Silence, dear chosen one, is so much more than the absence of words. It is your shield, your strategy, and your declaration of inner strength. It is not a passive act but a conscious choice. A deliberate act of self-mastery that guards you from battles unworthy of your energy. Have you ever been in a moment of anger where every word felt like fire, burning to escape? In those moments, silence becomes your greatest ally. Every word spoken in anger can become a weapon. Something manipulators can twist, distort, and use against you. But when you choose silence, you strip them of that power. Your words are treasures, and you hold them carefully, knowing that each one carries value and must be used wisely. This restraint is not just self-control, it is wisdom. It is rooted in your spiritual connection to God, who gives you discernment and clarity. As Proverbs 17 verses 27 to 28 reminds us, the one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Can you see how silence elevates you? By guarding your focus, you protect something far more precious than winning a fleeting argument. You preserve your inner peace. For the chosen ones, this peace is sacred because it aligns you with your higher purpose. But let's be clear, silence does not mean ignoring injustice or tolerating wrongdoing. Do you understand the difference? Silence is not avoidance, it is resistance, wise, strategic, and rooted in trust. When you choose silence, you are not surrendering, you are making space for God to act. As Romans 12 verse 19 teaches us, do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge, I will repay, says the Lord. Think of David, relentlessly pursued by King Saul, who was consumed by jealousy and hatred. 1 Samuel 24 recounts how David had every opportunity to strike back, to take vengeance into his own hands. Yet, when he found Saul asleep in the cave, David remained calm. He chose not to harm Saul, trusting instead that God would bring justice in his time. Saul, upon realizing David's restraint, was left in shock and confusion. David's calm was not a sign of weakness, it was a testament to his unwavering trust in God's judgment. Can you see yourself in this story? By stepping back, observing, and refusing to act impulsively, you leave room for God to move in ways you never could. In that quiet space, something extraordinary happens. Silence disarms the manipulator. Their tactics fall flat because you refuse to react. Rather than weakening you, your silence strengthens you. While others are swept away by storms of conflict, you navigate with grace and wisdom. But here's where it becomes even more powerful. Silence doesn't just protect you, it transforms you. It empowers you to rise above. What happens when the manipulator demands something from you? Perhaps they seek attention, control, or some small victory. Your natural instinct may be to resist or refuse. Yet, as a chosen one, you understand something profound. Sometimes, the greatest power lies in giving strategically. Have you ever thought about this? Giving, not as an act of submission, but as a conscious, calculated choice. Imagine you are playing a game of chess. By sacrificing a single piece, you set yourself up to win the entire match. When you give what the manipulator wants, without emotional attachment, you deny them the satisfaction of a fight. You disarm them completely. This principle is not new, it is deeply embedded in biblical wisdom. Matthew 5 verse 39 teaches us, "But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also." Jesus was not advocating surrender but mastery. By choosing how to respond, you strip the confrontation of its meaning. Manipulators expect resistance, anger, and justification. But when you give without attachment, their power crumbles. Think again of Joseph. Betrayed, sold into slavery, and imprisoned. Joseph could have fought against his circumstances. But he didn't. He acted wisely, trusted God, and waited for his plan to unfold. Years later, when his brothers came to Egypt seeking help, Joseph gave them what they needed, not with bitterness, but with divine understanding. His act of giving was not defeat, it revealed his strength. He remained in control because his actions came from a place of spiritual freedom, not ego. This is the paradox of the chosen ones. By giving strategically, you demonstrate emotional independence. You rise above petty struggles because your peace does not come from small victories but from your connection to God. Imagine a colleague at work deliberately provoking you, using sharp words and an aggressive tone to drag you into a dispute. What do? Instead of meeting their energy, you offer something unexpected. You respond calmly, perhaps even agree with something insignificant, and then walk away. What happens next? They are left confused, powerless, and unable to continue. Have you ever tried this? Does it not feel empowering to rise above their schemes? This is the strength of the chosen ones. It is the ability to navigate life with grace, to give without losing yourself, and to walk away with your dignity intact. Silence and strategic giving are not signs of weakness, they are reflections of divine wisdom and inner strength. They show that you are anchored in something eternal, untouched by the chaos around you. Dear chosen one, your silence is your strength. It declares to the world and to the manipulators that your peace is sacred. Your purpose is higher, and your trust is in God alone. Let them shout, let them plot, and let them stumble into their own confusion. While they struggle, you remain untouchable. Trust in the power of silence and watch as God reveals the truth in His perfect time. You are chosen. You are set apart. And you are deeply loved by the one who fights your battles and secures your victories. Are you ready to walk in this strength? Are you ready to let your calm speak louder than any words ever could? Trust in God. Embrace your silence. And let His light guide your every step. The ability to remain calm while others unravel is a hallmark of the chosen ones. To give without attachment and to walk away with your dignity intact is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the ability to discern which battles are worth fighting and to trust God with the rest. As Psalm 37 verse 7 reminds us, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him, do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes." This call to stillness is not passive, it is a conscious choice to place your energy where it truly matters. The next time someone demands a reaction, whether through manipulation, provocation, or deceit, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? What happens if you give them what they want, but on your terms? You will find that their control dissolves, their power fades, and you remain untouchable. Standing firmly in the truth of who you are, a chosen one connected to divine wisdom and guided by God's hand, empowers you to rise above. True strength is not in resisting every demand, it lies in knowing when to give, when to stay silent, and when to walk away with grace. While the world may see this as surrender, you know better. You understand it is mastery, a reflection of wisdom anchored in a purpose far greater than human conflict. As Exodus 14 verse 14 assures us, the Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Are you ready to walk in this wisdom? Are you ready to let your silence and your calculated choices speak louder than words ever could? This is who you are, unshaken, unmoved, and always one step ahead. For the chosen ones, the ability to give and withdraw is not a weakness but a profound demonstration of strength. Have you ever considered that giving, whether tangible or symbolic, can be an act of power rather than loss? Only those who have full control over themselves, who are unshaken by fleeting victories, can offer without attachment. Imagine giving something to a manipulator. Whether it's attention, agreement, or even the illusion of victory. Not out of fear but with deliberate intent. It is like releasing a balloon into the wind, not surrender, but freedom. In doing so, you demonstrate that you are untangled from the emotional chains they seek to place upon you. How liberating is it to know you are not bound by their need for conflict? But this act of giving is not reckless. Nor does it compromise your integrity. The chosen ones understand the art of discernment. They never hand over what is sacred or true within them. As Matthew 7 verse 6 warns, "Do not give dogs what is sacred, do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet, and turn and tear you to pieces." You protect your treasures, your peace, your heart, and your purpose, by knowing what to give and when to withdraw. Imagine giving a thief a fake ring to distract them from your true treasure. This is how the chosen ones operate. With precision and wisdom, you give what is necessary to disarm them, but never at the cost of your soul. This strategic detachment is born from your connection with God, who teaches you to act with prudence and clarity. But what comes next is even more powerful: the silent withdrawal. Walking away quietly is not cowardice, it is mastery. It is knowing when the battle is no longer worth your energy. When you withdraw silently, you send a message that echoes louder than words. The manipulator, expecting shouting and drama, is instead met with your calm retreat. They are left ungrounded, confronted by a void they cannot fill. Consider Jesus before his accusers. Matthew 26 verse 63 tells us, "But Jesus remained silent." His silence was not weakness but a declaration of divine strength. He owed no explanations, for the truth was not theirs to define. Have you ever felt how powerful it is to refuse defending yourself to those who would twist your words? The chosen ones follow this example, understanding that silence, especially in the face of provocation, is their greatest shield. When you walk away, it is not an escape, it is a spiritual victory. You declare to the world and to yourself that your peace, your purpose, and your connection with God are far more valuable than any confrontation. This confidence is not external but internal, rooted in the certainty that God sees all, knows all, and will bring justice at the appointed time. As Romans 8 verse 31 reminds us, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Have you noticed what happens when you withdraw? The manipulator, who thrives on your reactions, suddenly loses control. They are left spinning in confusion, trying to understand why their tactics no longer work. Meanwhile, you are already far away, dwelling in a place of renewal and peace. You are no longer tethered to their chaos. This act of leaving, done without fanfare or explanation, reflects the quiet strength of someone who knows their worth. It is like a river that changes its course, not violently, but powerfully, leaving no doubt about its strength. Have you ever felt this strength within you? It is God's presence, moving you forward, reminding you that you are not defined by battles or conflicts but by the divine purpose He has set for you. Yet, this strength is not merely about walking away, it is about walking in faith. Silent withdrawal requires courage and emotional strength. It is not easy to turn away from pain or resist the urge to explain yourself. But the chosen ones know that true closure does not come from others, it comes from within. Through God's guidance. In this quiet space, you reflect, you heal, and you wait. Isaiah 30 verse 15 tells us, "In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength." This quiet strength sets you apart. You don't need external validation because your peace comes from God. Silent withdrawal is not the end but a beginning, a new chapter where you thrive. Free from manipulation. Dear chosen one, your strength lies in trusting God with your battles. You are not called to fight every fight. You are called to walk with wisdom, to act with discernment, and to let your silence speak for itself. As Exodus 14 verse 14 assures, "The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still." Stand firm in this truth, knowing that your silence is a reflection of divine strength and your unwavering connection to God. Let the manipulators shout. Let them scheme. While they struggle, you rise above, untouchable and anchored in grace. You are chosen. You are set apart. Walk in this truth, and let the world see the strength of a soul at peace. Withdrawing silently in the face of conflict is an act of profound courage and emotional strength. It is not easy to turn away from something or someone that has caused you pain. The urge to explain, clarify, or seek closure can feel overwhelming. But as a chosen one, you know this urge is a trap. Have you ever realized that true closure doesn't come from others but from within? By leaving without drama, you preserve your energy, protect your dignity, and refuse to be dragged deeper into the manipulator's schemes. In these moments, your connection with God becomes your refuge. You draw on His strength, trusting Him to bring clarity and justice in His perfect time. Isaiah 30 verse 15 declares, "In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength." This quiet strength is what sets you apart. You don't need external validation or closure because you know where your peace comes from, it comes from God. Silent withdrawal is not an ending, it is a beginning. It marks the opening of a new chapter where you can thrive, free from the shadows of manipulation. It is the realization that your path forward is far greater than any temporary conflict. By walking away, you are not only protecting your essence but reaffirming your commitment to your divine purpose. Can you feel this truth settling within you? You are chosen, set apart, and guided by a strength that doesn't come from battles won but from battles wisely left behind. Your connection with God is your compass, guiding you through chaos and leading you into peace. Each step of your withdrawal declares, "My peace is sacred. My purpose is greater. My trust is in God alone." Do you see it now? The silent withdrawal is not defeat, it is a spiritual victory. It is a testament to your inner strength and unwavering faith. You are not just surviving, you are rising. When faced with manipulation or betrayal, the chosen ones do not crumble under the weight of anger or despair. Instead, they turn inward, to prayer, to meditation, to the quiet spaces where God speaks. In moments of turmoil, they surrender their struggles to the one who holds all things together. This surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the understanding that a greater plan is at work, even if it cannot yet be seen. Have you ever paused in your pain and felt that still, small voice reminding you to trust? This is the secret of the chosen ones, their faith in God's perfect timing. While manipulators scheme and strategize, clinging to human efforts, the chosen ones rest in the knowledge that God sees all. He knows the truth and is already working behind the scenes to bring it into the light. Psalm 37 verses 5 to 6 reassures us. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him and He will act. He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, your justice like the noonday sun. The truth will always emerge, not in your time, but in God's perfect time. This trust in divine justice allows the chosen ones to embrace forgiveness, often misunderstood as weakness. Forgiveness is actually an act of spiritual liberation. Have you ever held on to resentment and felt its heavy weight on your heart? Forgiveness does not justify wrongdoing, nor does it mean forgetting the pain. Instead, it is the chosen one's way of refusing to let the manipulator's actions imprison their spirit. Forgiveness is for your peace, not theirs. It frees you from bitterness and makes room for God's healing love to restore you. Ephesians 4 verses 31 to 32 teaches, "Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." By forgiving, you demonstrate spiritual strength, a refusal to be chained by another's actions. Forgiveness is not a favor to the manipulator, it is a gift to yourself. It is a declaration that you belong to God, not to the pain inflicted upon you. David's story offers a powerful example of this. Pursued relentlessly by King Saul, who sought to destroy him out of jealousy, David had many opportunities to retaliate. He could have taken matters into his own hands. Yet, when he found Saul asleep in a cave, David chose restraint. As recorded in 1 Samuel 24 verse 12, David said, "May the Lord judge between me and you, and may the Lord avenge me on you. But my hand shall not be against you." David's trust in divine justice was unwavering. In the appointed time, God exalted him. Do you see the lesson here? By choosing forgiveness and patience, you place your trust in God, who judges righteously and lifts up those who remain faithful. These biblical stories are not merely tales of the past, they are blueprints for the present. They teach us that silence, patience, and forgiveness are not acts of weakness but spiritual weapons of the chosen ones. Have you noticed how much strength it takes to remain calm when provoked? How much courage it takes to forgive when you've been wronged? This strength does not come from within, it comes from your connection with God. Every moment of betrayal or manipulation is an opportunity for growth. Have you thought about this? These trials are not obstacles but tools for your spiritual refinement. Like gold refined in fire, you are being shaped for something far greater than this moment. While the manipulator focuses on earthly victories, you are being prepared for an eternal purpose, a calling they cannot comprehend. As James 1 verses 2 to 4 encourages us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." These trials strengthen you, deepen your faith, and align you more closely with your divine calling. Dear chosen one, you are not called to fight every battle. You are called to rise above, to trust in God's timing, and to walk in peace. Silent withdrawal and forgiveness are not signs of surrender, they are declarations of strength and faith. They are the hallmarks of those who know their worth, their purpose, and their connection to God. Trust in Him, and let His perfect plan unfold. You are chosen, and you are never alone. Every trial you face refines you, strengthens you, and draws you closer to your divine purpose. Yet beyond this growth lies something even greater, divine protection. As one of God's chosen, you are surrounded by His care. While storms may come, emotional, spiritual, or physical, none will prevail against you. Isaiah 54 verse 17 declares, "No weapon that is formed against you will prosper. And every tongue that accuses you in judgment you will condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. This promise doesn't mean you won't face challenges, it means no challenge will ever be greater than the strength God gives you to overcome it. Do you feel the assurance of this promise? Even in the darkest moments, you are never alone. God is your refuge, your defender, and your guide. When you trust in Him, forgive those who wrong you, and walk away from manipulation with calm and confidence. You are demonstrating a faith few can comprehend. How powerful it is to know that you are under divine care. This certainty, that God is fighting for you even when you cannot see it, is the source of your strength. Dear chosen one, do not let the actions of others steal your peace. Forgive. Not for their sake but for your own freedom. Walk away in silence when necessary. And trust that God's justice will prevail. While manipulators cling to their schemes, God is leading you towards something far greater. 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 3 assures us, "The Lord is faithful, and He will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one." Let this be your anchor, every storm, every betrayal, and every moment of silence is drawing you closer to God's purpose for your life. You are not merely enduring, you are rising. The chosen ones do not crumble under the weight of anger or despair. Instead, they grow. They do not seek vengeance, they forgive. They do not lose themselves in the battle, they stand firm, secure in the knowledge that their peace rests in God's hands. Can you feel the strength of this assurance? No matter what comes your way, you are protected, guided, and deeply loved. Trust in this truth. Your strength lies in surrendering to God's plan, knowing that through Him, you will always prevail. When the chosen ones choose silence and withdrawal, something extraordinary happens. They create a void, a space so vast and impenetrable that the manipulator cannot handle it. This void is not empty, it is a mirror, reflecting back to the manipulator their own insufficiency, brokenness, and disorder. Manipulators thrive in chaos, twisting emotions, distorting narratives, and feeding on conflict to maintain control. Their strength lies in provoking reactions, arguments, and emotional outbursts. But what happens when you give them nothing? When you respond with absolute silence? Their strategy crumbles like a flame deprived of oxygen. Their power begins to wither. Have you ever seen someone lose their footing when they don't get the response they expect? It's a remarkable shift. They anticipate resistance, tears, or justifications, anything they can use as fuel. But when you respond with silence, you break the cycle. You leave them trapped in their own chaos, forced to face the truth they have spent so long avoiding. This moment of confusion is profound. Proverbs 26 verse 4 wisely teaches, "Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him." By refusing to engage, you expose the manipulator's weakness without lifting a finger. Without your reaction, they lose their footing. The absence of confrontation disarms them, leaving them vulnerable and directionless. Silence strips away their power, not through force, but through the absence of resistance. It is as if you've removed the ground beneath their feet, rendering their tactics meaningless. But here is where silence becomes even more powerful. The void you create can lead to transformation. While it is not your responsibility to change anyone, the manipulator often finds themselves forced into self-reflection when faced with this void. For the first time, they confront their own behavior, motivations, and failures. Like a stone dropped into a still lake, your silence creates ripples that subtly challenge their perspective. Have you ever seen someone unexpectedly pause and reconsider their actions after you refuse to react? The Bible gives us a profound example of this in John 8 verses 1 to 11. When a group of men brought a woman accused of adultery before Jesus, hoping to provoke him into conflict, they demanded answers and tried to trap him with their words. Instead of responding immediately, Jesus knelt and began to write in the sand, saying nothing. His silence created a void. In that quiet space, the accusers were confronted with their own guilt and hypocrisy. One by one, they walked away. Jesus' calm presence and refusal to engage dismantled their accusations without a single argument. This is the power of silence. It is not passive, it is transformative. By refusing to engage, you give manipulators the opportunity to see their own reflection. They may not admit it, and the transformation may take time, but the seed is planted. Have you ever wondered if your calm withdrawal could inspire someone to change? Even if unintentionally? It's a possibility worth considering. Dear chosen one, your silence is not just a shield, it is a statement of strength, wisdom, and trust in God. It breaks cycles of chaos, protects your peace, and reflects divine light into even the darkest situations. Trust in this power, and let it guide your steps. You are chosen, and through your silence, God is working in ways far beyond your understanding. The chosen ones do not seek to change others, but their actions, guided by divine wisdom, quietly influence hearts in profound ways. Your silence protects you, yes, but it also sets an example. It becomes a subtle force, planting seeds of self-reflection and growth. Without raising a voice, you reflect God's light. As Matthew 5 verse 16 says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." In the face of manipulation, your silence and grace testify to your connection with God. While others shout, you remain still. While others fight, you step away. This calm challenges the manipulator to confront their own insecurity and brokenness. It's like watching a storm dissipate as it meets an unshakable mountain. You are that mountain, steady and unmovable. Your silence does more than shield you, it reflects strength and divine clarity. Though you may not always witness transformation, know that your silence is never wasted. It carries weight, rippling outward in ways only God can fully see. Galatians 6 verse 9 reminds us, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." The chosen ones are not here to fight every battle, they are here to stand firm, anchored in God's wisdom, letting their actions speak louder than words. Silence is not just self-protection, it is a spiritual weapon of truth and transformation. The void you create by walking away is not empty. It disarms manipulators, challenges their motives, and strengthens your faith. This void allows God to work not only in your life but also in ways you cannot see. So when chaos surrounds you, remember, your silence is powerful. It is your shield, your strategy, and your declaration of faith. Stand firm in this silence. Psalm 46 verse 10 calls, "Be still, and know that I am God." Trust Him. Walk in silence, and watch His truth prevail. The chosen ones move forward not because they expect others to change, but because their peace and purpose are anchored in something greater. Their progress is independent of the actions or behavior of others. They live in alignment with divine values, trusting that even the smallest acts of grace ripple through the unseen fabric of spirituality. Have you ever reflected on how powerful it is to choose where to place your energy? The chosen ones understand this deeply. They treat their energy, time, and focus as sacred resources. refusing to waste them on meaningless battles. This discernment defines their boundaries, which are firm and non-negotiable. Silence and withdrawal, therefore, are not avoidance but declarations of strength. They proclaim to the world, "I will not be dragged into chaos." This choice does more than protect the chosen ones, it elevates them. It marks them as individuals of divine purpose and clarity. Manipulators may resist this resolve, intensifying their tactics in desperation. But the harder they push, the more their fragility is exposed. The chosen one's silence becomes an impenetrable fortress. The manipulator's weapons of deception and provocation fall harmlessly against it. As Psalm 18 verse 2 declares, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer, my God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold." This unwavering calm is not born of indifference but of divine strength. God Himself fortifies your soul, enabling you to remain steady while others unravel. And when manipulators see this strength, their games lose meaning. Their insecurities are revealed. Not because you fought back, but because you refused to play their game. Have you noticed how those who seek control falter when faced with calm resistance? This is the power of peace over chaos. The chosen one's unshakable calm reveals their spiritual superiority, not born of pride, but of divine confidence and identity. They refuse to engage in petty emotional battles because they understand that their strength comes from God, not from external validation. Philippians 4 verse 7 reminds us, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." This peace, cultivated through prayer, reflection, and trust, becomes their sanctuary in a chaotic world. It is untouched by storms and unshaken by conflict. Have you ever felt that deep calm in prayer, a moment when the noise fades and you feel God's presence? That is your refuge, your unshakable strength. This peace inspires others. People are drawn to the resilience of the chosen ones, seeing in their calm a testimony of God's grace. You are not just navigating life, you are reflecting His light into the darkest corners. Even manipulators may pause, reflecting on their own actions when met with the chosen one's unwavering strength. Trust in this peace. Dear chosen one, stand firm in your faith, anchored in God's wisdom. Let your silence speak volumes, allowing His truth to prevail. You are chosen, set apart for a divine purpose. Walk in confidence, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. The chosen ones find their sanctuary in God, a place of renewal, guidance, and unshakable strength. Even when storms rage around them, they stand firm. Have you ever felt that deep calm in prayer, where the noise of the world fades, and you know you are held by God's hand? That is the chosen one's refuge. This divine connection does more than protect them, it inspires others. People witness their resilience, their ability to face betrayal, manipulation, and adversity without losing direction. And they are reminded of the power of living with mastery over oneself. It is no coincidence that others are drawn to this strength. The quiet resolve of the chosen ones is a visible testimony of God's power at work. Consider Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, betrayed, abandoned, and faced with the agony of His impending sacrifice. He remained anchored in God's will. When Peter drew his sword to fight, Jesus said, "Put your sword back in its place. Do you think I cannot call on my Father? And He will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels." Matthew 26 verses 52 to 53. Jesus' calm was not passivity, it was the ultimate act of strength and trust. He knew his purpose. And nothing, not betrayal, not suffering, could shake it. The chosen ones embody this same resolve. They know when to fight and when to let go. Their freedom lies in releasing everything that does not serve their divine purpose. They let go of fears, toxic expectations, and limiting relationships, trusting fully in God to provide all they need in His perfect timing. Isaiah 26 verse 3 assures us, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." This freedom is not a renunciation of life but the ultimate form of strength. It enables the chosen ones to live authentically, inspiring others by their example. Can you imagine the weight lifted when you stop fighting unnecessary battles? This is where the chosen ones find victory, not in shouting louder or reacting impulsively, but in acting intentionally and staying true to their purpose. Each step they take, from choosing silence to walking away, testifies to their faith. Spiritual victory is not achieved through conflict but through trust in a higher plan. Manipulators may never understand this, for their vision is confined to earthly victories. But the chosen ones see beyond. They know their battles are already won because they walk with God. Exodus 14 verse 14 reminds us, "The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still." This is the legacy of the chosen ones: wisdom, peace, and transformation. They live proof that true strength lies not in conquering others but in mastering oneself and trusting in God's perfect plan. Can you feel this truth within you? Your journey is not about proving yourself to anyone but about living in alignment with your divine calling. Let your silence be your strength, your calm be your message, and your faith be your guide. Walk forward with the certainty that God's hand is upon you every step of the way. You are chosen. You are set apart. You are unshakable. As we come to the close of this message, let me leave you with a simple yet profound truth: you carry the power to transform any situation. Your connection to God, your divine purpose, and your unwavering faith make you unstoppable. No challenge, no manipulator, no storm can diminish the strength that resides within you. If this message resonates with you, let it be a reminder of your unique calling. Share this truth with others who may need encouragement. And together, we can build a community of unshakable faith. Galatians 6 verse 9 urges, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." You are part of something eternal. Let your silence, your peace, and your trust in God speak louder than any words ever could. May God's grace guide your every step, His strength uphold you, and His wisdom lead you into greater peace. Never forget, you are chosen. Until next time, walk boldly in this truth and let the world see the power of a soul anchored in faith. God bless you.